Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jay from Sony Lab, and what we got here is the ultra compact Sony RX100 IV. And it's a new and improved model. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like when I open the box real quick as I go over some of the key features. So over the previous model, this has a new sensor, and it's an RS version. So it actually has onboard memory. It's a stacked backlit sensor, and it's 20.1 megapixels, 1 inch in size, so it's very large considering the size of the camera. And that's why this goes for so much money, pretty much. It's a super high quality, like pro camera, yet it's ultra compact, so you can fit it in your pocket. So at the time of this review, the cost is $948 US versus $748 for the older model, the RX100 III. The other key features are 16 frames per second versus 10 frames per second on the older model, and also 4K video, of course, and it can do up to 960 frames per second, which is incredible slow motion power. The RX100 Mark IV weighs in at 10.5 ounces or 298 grams with the battery and memory card in place. This camera also has a pop-up EVF, which is a high-resolution viewfinder. Makes it great for shooting in bright conditions. And the high-res 3-inch LCD screen on the back, although it's not a touchscreen, it does fully articulate, allowing for, selfies and other video, shooting abilities. If you're recording yourself, like doing podcasts or other things, you can use that selfie feature, which is quite powerful. You can see it here, how I have it fully in selfie mode. And notice the high-quality engineering when you zoom in. So the more powerful sensor also allows for this super fast electronic shutter speed option of 1/32,000th of a second. And that's a great feature because the mechanical shutter maxes out at 1/2000th of a second. And basically what that does is it minimizes distortion caused by the rolling shutter effects, which can be very noticeable when shooting fast-moving objects. If the super fast shutter wasn't enough, it also has a 3-stop ND filter, which will ensure that you can shoot, in super bright conditions at the maximum f1.8 aperture. Here she is booting up, so you can see what it looks like, and it grows significantly in size when you turn it on. And when you zoom in and out, the lens moves back and forth a little bit, as you'll see from the side view here. That's what it looks like when you zoom into 70 and when you zoom out to 24mm effective. And here it is from the back, just so you can get an idea, of the range that you get with this camera. And here she is when you turn it off. I just wanted to show you what it looks like shutting down. Alright guys, so here we are for the hands-on portion of this review. And I just wanted to show you what this camera looks like in my hand, so you can see, the size of it. And it's really compact. The cool thing about the compactness is you can literally fit this in your pocket, like your front pocket of your jeans, as long as they're not like super tight skinny jeans or something. But you could actually fit it in there, a jacket pocket easily, things like that. So, and you're getting top quality here. That's why the price tag is as high as it is. It's $948 US at the time of this review. And, that's not exactly cheap, but it's got, like I said, a really, really high quality lens here, a Zeiss Vario Sonar T lens. And it works out to 24 to 70 millimeter, and it works really well. So I just wanted to go over a couple of things here. You have a control dial for your thumb here. The resistance is pretty good on this. And then you got your mode dial here. All right, and that's pretty hard to turn. It's got a nice click to it. And then you have a control ring here on the lens. So when you're in manual mode, for example, this will control, the shutter speed or the aperture, and this will control the shutter speed or the aperture depending on how you have it programmed. Let me just show you that real quick. So let me go to manual mode. Alright, so now I'm in manual mode, and it's going to show you, you can see this wheel is doing the shutter speed, see that? And then the control wheel on the lens is changing the aperture. Alright, so that's how that works. And you got all these different modes here. High frame rate shooting, that's where you go to do the super high speed, 960 frames per second, things like that. And that's auto mode. Aperture priority mode is usually what I use. Another thing I wanted to show you was the pop-up flash. You just slide this lever here and the flash pops up. And then of course the viewfinder. You got the button over here. You just pop that, viewfinder, it comes out, and there you go. You can put your eye up to that and see in bright sunlight conditions. It's a very nice feature. On the side here, you got the ports. This is the HDMI, and they're separate doors here, 2 separate doors. Alright, and you got your multi-purpose USB, which is also how you charge the camera. You charge the camera battery by plugging in here, and you leave the battery on the bottom, like so. There's the battery, and here's the memory card. So you can see the memory card. I'm using a fast memory card. It's a PNY. I'll give you a link for it. Super affordable, but it's a SDXC card and allows me to record at the super high quality 4K video. So this is the card I'm using, and I recommend it. I haven't had any problems with it yet, and it's super affordable, like I said. So that's what I'm using for the 100 megabits per second 4K video recording. The door has like a lock here, like so. You just slide it to the right, and here's the tripod mount. Now the body is mostly metal. On the front it's all metal, but on the back here it switches over to plastic. This is a plastic material. And the screen pops out. It's got a little tab here. You could pop it out and articulate it, and it goes all the way across forward like that. So you can do selfies. So you can do selfie pictures really easily with the screen like that. Very nice feature that I wish more of the Sony cameras had, but they only seem to do it on certain models, this one being one of them. So I definitely like that feature. Another thing I wanted to show you was the zoom. You have a variable zoom here on the top, and that zooms the lens like so. Notice the manual control ring here on the lens, and you could use it for a zoom when you're in full auto mode. So that's a nice feature, and it does what you would expect it to do when using a zoom lens. But you can also use the zoom here as well. Alright, so when you press the function button, it brings up the function menu, and this is a configurable menu, and it gives you, quick access to the key features that, you use most. And the autofocus is what I tend to change a lot. So I was just showing you that, how you can change the size of the flexible spot there. And, it's a really nice, powerful feature. All different focus modes. You got expandable, flexible spot, and wide area is a good option. Center I tend to use most for, just because it's easy. Alright guys, I just wanted to go over the menu a little bit here, and you obviously just hit the menu button there. And what you got here is the quality settings. You could shoot RAW or JPEG quality. And notice on the top there how there's two rows. There's the top row, and then there's each row has a series of numbered folders. So under this category obviously is the camera. And here's 4K. That's how you change the video format. I showed you that quickly before. And this is the 4K quality setting. And this will change when you select, depending on what file format you select, the record setting options will change. This is for super high speed shooting like slow motion and 960 frames per second. Here's an example of what that looks like. Pretty awesome if you ask me. Cool feature. Definitely like it. The 960 frames per second doesn't look quite as good though as the 480 or the 240, which the 240 looks excellent. A few more options here going through just so you can see what's available. This is a pro camera, so there's a lot of options. Picture profile gives you the ability to change the way the images are captured, or video in particular. And if you scroll down here to PP7, that's the S-Log2 gamma profile, and I'm just going to show you what that looks like really quick live with video. Alright, so you can change the picture profile modes while recording video. Right now I have it set to off, but here's what PP1 looks like, picture profile 2, picture profile 3, picture profile 4, picture profile 5, 6, and here's what S-Log2 looks like, and you can see just how flat it is. And here's back to regular mode with it turned off. Alright, so going over a few more features, we have the ND filter I mentioned earlier, and you can turn that just on, off, or on auto, which I prefer to leave it on. It'll automatically kick in when needed for, when you're shooting in bright conditions or whatever. Drive mode, couple other options here. Now if you go to the gear icon, you have more options. This thing is really in-depth with options, I gotta tell you. So just scroll through here and play with all of them. Pre-AF, that'll actually save you some battery if you turn it off. You can change your zoom speed. You can change the type of zoom. We got optical, we got clear image zoom, or you have digital you can add on top of that. And you can see here that the clear image zoom doubles your distance pretty much, and it does it with a smart zoom, which gives you excellent quality rendition. When you go beyond clear image zoom and put it into digital zoom, it starts to degrade the quality noticeably. But still a great feature to get that extra reach. So we got different shutter type options, your function menu. This is where you program your function menu, and here you can put whatever you want in there. Excellent feature. Also, if you keep going, you got custom key settings. You can change all the buttons around, not all of them, but a lot of the different buttons you can change here. and makes your life easier depending on which way you like to shoot. Here's the Wi-Fi options, and you can turn this into a hotspot, things like that, so you can suck the pictures off. This is where you can add applications and increase the power and functionality of your camera by installing applications. And there's a lot of cool apps out there, time-lapse apps, HDR type apps, things like that. Lots of features. Like I said, the pro quality camera price point gives you all the power. So here's your PAL setting and all that. So I just wanted to give you an overview of these different features in case you were wondering like what this thing actually has inside. All right, so I got the camera in full auto mode, and I just wanted to show you the focus speeds. Works pretty good. Had a little bit of a hard time with the lights in the background there because there's such a small focus area. But you just move the camera around and eventually it got it, no problem. But you could see how quick it is from going from the train to the background. And here I'm recording video, and I just wanted to show you the focus transitions and how smooth it is. And also that it could find the lights in the background, which can, be potentially hard when it's out of focus. Sometimes it just won't focus on things. But, the RX100 IV did an excellent job, in my opinion. And even tracking the train, it did a good job. You could see right there, it tracks it up. I had it in continuous autofocus mode for this test and center focus area. So all I did was try to keep the center of the camera, on the train text. That's pretty much it. And it did an excellent job tracking it, as you can see here. But I'm actually zoomed in at 70 millimeter right now. So here's clear image zoom. You can see I'm zooming in on the train, but notice how the bokeh didn't change or anything like that. It's because it's like a digital zoom. It's a smart digital zoom though. It does an excellent job. The quality is like exceptional, but it's not a physical zoom. This is optical zoom here. And you can see it's nice and smooth in normal zoom mode, and you can change the speeds and stuff. Here's a couple focus transitions, real world style. And it will use faces as a priority by default. Alright, so here's zooming with clear image zoom. So it's going to go further. Alright, now I'm in clear image zoom territory. You can see those turtles on that little pad there. It's pretty far away, but just zoom back out. Alright, now right here is 70 millimeter, and I'm backing off, going back to 16. So that clear image zoom gives you an extra, pretty much doubles it. Sure. It's a nice playground. Nice climb, Layla, nice climb. Whoa! Alright guys, so here we are back in the lab, and I just wanted to show you some high ISO images so you can see what this camera is capable of on the higher end of its sensor sensitivity. In this case it's 12,800 is what Sony decided to max the camera out at. And this is a RAW file here. And you could notice on the crayons, you can still read the letters. They are a little bit, garbled up from the noise, but overall, it's pretty darn good if you ask me. And they could have opened this up to go to 25,000. Instead, they capped it at 12,800. Now here is ISO 6400, and you can see the text starts to come back a little bit. The detail rendition is a little bit better. You can see it looks just a little muddy though. It's got like a muddy look to it. And that's what you would expect from a 1-inch sensor at this ISO level. ISO 3200, you could see, looking even cleaner. And then we can go down to ISO 1600, and you can see the letters are really starting to sharpen up quite nicely with detail there. So below this is, totally usable. I'll show you in some real world photos. I just wanted to show you on the higher end here what the lab scene looked like. All right, guys, so moving on to some real world photos here. I shot mostly JPEG just for, speed, ease of use. And, it's a point and shoot style camera. So RAW will definitely give you a little bit more leeway with editing, don't get me wrong. But in this day and age, this particular camera, I think most people will be shooting in JPEG mode, most likely. What's cool about this camera is the compactness. I was walking with the kids and, just shooting around the house. So I'm walking around the street, and you could see this camera does a great job. You can get really close to stuff. The minimum focus distance, approximately 2 inches. So you can get super close to stuff and get a nice separation in the background. As you can see, these contrasting leaves here with the blue water valve. And this image shows you another example of how good the depth separation is. And you can see when I zoom in, the detail on this, this little tree bud or whatever it is. It's going to turn into a leaf, I believe. The fall off here, the background, you could see the dynamic range is quite good. And here's one at Jace. And like I said, he broke his leg. He got the cast off finally. But I've been pushing him around a lot, and I just wanted to show you some of the sharpness detail here. Check out this detail in the eyes. It's exceptionally good. And he's a good boy. Here's another shot so you can see the eyelashes and stuff. He's a trooper. He fell out of the bed, in case you're wondering. Here's a better shot. Now I was shooting into the sun here, doing some test shots, so you can see how this thing handles that. And it did a great job, in my opinion, shooting right into the sun. The image still has nice contrast. There's no flaring here at this angle. So that was impressive to me. And just an angle so you can see some detail. And then Bones Jones is back here. You can see the separation that 1-inch sensor provides. This was actually taken wide open at 8.8 millimeter is the technical lens millimeter, but that works out to approximately 24 when you look at it from the 35 millimeter perspective. So like I said, it's 24 to 70 millimeter lens effective. And here's another shot just to show you some separation and shooting into the sun. See, it looks pretty good. Now here's some images with some color, and I just wanted to show you how the camera handles that. And you can see it does a really good job with landscapes. Just pops up the blues. I really like the way it handles the blue. And this is a 24 millimeter pretty much, and this is 70 millimeter equivalent, so you can see the range you get. All right, here's just a no trespassing sign. I just wanted to show you the separation in the background through the fence that you can achieve with this. And here's another image of the pool. And this is just a pathway that's kind of, gone astray. No one really takes care of this area anymore. And here's another one. I just wanted to show you the separation. You could see Layla. And just check out the sharpness on this metal. You could see it's unbelievably good. That Zeiss lens is excellent. And this is at f4. The lens does sharpen up a little bit at f4 from, wide open. So you could see here's Layla. You could see that completely defocused. Looks quite nice. Here's an image of the slide. This Layla likes to go down this slide. It's a lot of fun. And here's a couple shots I just wanted to show you the separation. This is f8. See that? So f4 versus f8. You can see the background, it starts to get more detail. You can see. Here's another image of the slide. I just wanted to show you all these contrasting lines and color, and it was just a pretty cool shot. It's kind of busy, but just look at this detail sharpness, Up in the corners, you can see the corner sharpness is very, very good. and it's at f5.6. Just want to show you the detail on the slide here. You can see the sun is directly on the slide, and it manages to retain all that detail. The paint did a really good job, in my opinion. Here's a few more shots of the fence. I just wanted to show you some aperture ranges. Here's f1.8 versus f4, so you could see how the detail on the tennis court starts to come in. See that? And then at f11, you can see has a lot of detail, so you can really tell what the scene is. You know, a rundown tennis court versus now it just kind of looks like, you know, red and green blobs. Now here's one of Layla zoomed in. This is effectively 70 millimeter. And same exact shot, I was in the same position, I just zoomed all the way out to the effective 24 millimeter. And here's a couple more images. We're just playing around. I kind of liked, somebody did a good job with the chalk here. Oh, I was using panorama mode. I thought this was a good opportunity. You just turn the mode dial, put it on panorama mode, and by default you can shoot left to right, and this is what you can expect to get. And you know, walking back towards the house from that little playground we were just playing at, there's this like U-turn in the road, and you know, with the pano you kind of get a cool effect, and you can see the whole turn. You know, it's like a 180-degree turn, and you can capture the whole thing. This is just an anthill on the way back to the house, and we were playing at another playground. I just wanted to show you some more separation examples. You can see what the playground turns into. And this is just a cool little bench that we found. We were walking around. I really like the way this thing was built. I was thinking about trying to build one. You know, Layla was willing to pose for me. There she is. It was windy. And here's one of Layla on top of the slide, and you could see shooting into the bright, you know, sky. Her face is a little bit dark there, but you know, the detail is there. The highlight detail is there, and also the shadow detail. And you could adjust this and edit it to brighten that up and stuff. Here's a couple more images. This is a JPEG file here, and this one's a RAW file. So you can see the RAW file actually has more color than the JPEG. It's kind of odd, I thought, but it depends on what, you know, creative mode you're using. I had it set to standard, so that's how it's processing the JPEGs in a standard way. You can set that to vivid, for example, and then that will add more pop to your JPEG images. But like I said, this is just a RAW versus a JPEG. All right, and you can see the sharpness on the RAW is exceptional. Just look at the detail. Even in the corners, it's really good. And you got all the texture on that concrete there. Same with the grass. I thought this was a good test shot. Alright, so moving on to a street scene. Now this is the RAW file, and this one just came out excellent right off the camera. You could see the vibrance, the brightness. It just nailed it. And you could see the detail is all there. I mean, this is the highlights, and you could see the brick. It's not blown out. All the information is there. Could be pulled back a little bit with some highlight recovery. But what I wanted to show you was the sharpness and just overall quality. And let me just show you up here some of the sharpness in the corners. This was shot at f5.6, by the way. So you can see the depth of field is pretty large at f5.6. So let me move on here. This one I zoomed in. Oh, that was taken at 24 millimeter. This one's taken at 70. And I focused over here somewhere. One of these dishes I focused. And you can see the detail is quite good. Once again, it's excellent. Got the stop sign down there at the end. It's very sharp. You got this car here. You can see the license plate, how sharp it is. And there's a sign over here. And again, you know, the detail is excellent. Super high quality lens, the Zeiss on here. Now this one I focused over here. Just wanted to show you that. And you can see just how sharp that is, and the detail in the brick. And then I could show you here on the left the sign, which is pretty far away. This is at f5.6, so you know that's a good probably 50 feet away, and the depth of field pretty much carries it all the way through. So it's sharp from here all the way to the sign at f5.6 at this distance, and at pretty much 70 millimeter. So that's about it for the real world images, guys. So let's wrap this up with the conclusion, shall we? Alright guys, so the bottom line for the Sony RX100 Mark IV, in my opinion, is it's an excellent camera. It's a little bit expensive for sure, at $950 pretty much, but it's ultra compact, and that's really what you're paying for, is all that power in such an ultra compact size. And the image quality is great. The lens optics are excellent. The video quality in particular is outstanding. I took a bunch in 4K, and you can watch that. I had to upload it as a separate video because all the other footage I shot was with my Sony Nex-6, and obviously that's not high resolution, so the 4K footage is in a separate video, and you could just click that here. I'm popping it up on the screen for you. The 1-inch sensor is very large for such a small camera and offers some, quality separation from the backgrounds if you get close to your subject in particular, as you saw in the sample photos. So the RX100 series camera can literally fit in your pocket and does not burden you its size and weight like some other larger cameras and lens combos. If you want the smallest yet highest quality camera, then the Sony RX100 Mark IV is one worth considering. If you want more versatility, then you're going to want to look at the RX10 series camera. That would be a better option in my opinion, because the version 2, for example, has the same sensor, 4K specs and all that, but it has a 24 to 200 millimeter f2.8 constant aperture lens, and the lens is definitely far superior. The camera is much bigger, but it's more versatile. The RX10 III just came out, and that has a 24 to 600 millimeter effective focal length, so that's even better. And but it's going to be much larger and heavier as a downside, but versatility wise, clearly the better option. If you want to learn how to use more features on the camera, be sure to check out my Sony A6300 video review, where I break down how to use the camera in more detail than I did in this review. All the Sony cameras work the same pretty much as far as the menu systems go. That is it for this review, guys, so I really hope you got what you were looking for, and please feel free to ask questions or comment below as always. Support links below, and please be sure to subscribe if you thought the review was worth checking out, and share it with your friends if you liked it. Alright guys, thanks again. Take care.